What's up everyone, my name is Alpha and today we're back with another Pokemon Radical Red video, and today's challenge on Radical Red will be, can I beat Pokemon Radical Red using only reptile Pokemon? I've seen this comment in the comment section of my videos for a little bit now, and I've thought to myself, why is this a challenge? This seems very easy, as most of the Pokemon probably qualify as reptiles and there's some probably strong Pokemon as I could think of, like Charizard and Sceptile, who completely break Radical Red anyway. So I decided to ban those two Pokemon, Charizard and also Sceptile, in this reptile run, so everyone else is pretty much legalized. I don't know, I can only use Pokemon that are reptiles, and as well all my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments. So thank you so much for leaving a comment in the previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after a future Pokemon in my future challenge video, just drop in the comments and hopefully I'll pick yours. It would really help me out if you guys could drop some support, leave a like on the channel, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment on the channel. I don't do anything that you want. I just support the channel if you guys can, and let's get into the challenge video itself. To start off with, our first reptile Pokemon is going to be a turtle. I'm pretty sure a turtle is a reptile, but we're gonna get a Squirtle as our first Pokemon because nothing comes to mind that are actually reptiles besides obviously Hoenn, and they have the Trico, that's a gecko. I'm pretty sure geckos are lizards and they're reptiles. I'm not too sure about Bulbasaur. He's kind of like a dinosaur. I didn't really count dinosaurs, kind of weird. But from there, we're gonna head into Viridian City, and we spent over 30 minutes looking for a Sandile. Sandile is only 5% encounter in Viridian City, and I think it's only a day encounter, so I switched it to day, and I still could not find a Sandile. I just couldn't. I don't know why. It was the only Pokemon that's on the Poké Radar that I didn't find the entire time. So we're not gonna play with a Sandile, I guess. We have to skip Sandile, which is fine for me. Kind of. I wanted to use Sandile, but we use Sandile so much that we gotta focus on using unique Pokemon. So we start off with our very uniqueness of catching an Ekans. Ekans is gonna be our second party member in the game, which is interesting. We also go into the egg merchant and hatch ourselves another turtle. We're gonna get ourselves a Chutile, a turtle. I mean, he evolves into Dreadnought, so that would be pretty cool. From there, we're gonna face off against the very first mini boss in the game. We're gonna face off against Faulkner, and we actually destroy him. You know, destroy him is a loose term, but we did beat him down with our Chutile. I think it's Chutile. I'm gonna go with Chutile. From there, we're gonna face off against Brock next, which is gonna be the first gym leader in the game. We're gonna start the battle off against him using my Chutile to Aqua Jet, which I should have went for a bite to see if I could flinch him, but Aqua Jet would knock him out, which is nice. He then goes out to his Vulpix, which is unfortunately gonna knock me out with his hidden power. But I then go out into my Squirtle, which will knock out the Vulpix, with also a Rapid Spin to boost up my speed, so I'm able to knock out the Onix and survive another Rock Tomb. And then the Archon comes on next. I can survive the Pluck from the Archon and actually Water Pulse and knock him out, and we get our first gym badge of the game. Looking pretty nice. You'd be surprised though, there's not a lot of reptiles. I look really hard through all the encounter lists, and there's not a lot of reptiles. So if you guys do see me not using one of the reptiles, maybe I glossed over it, but I swear I did try to find all the reptiles possible, and I couldn't find anything. So let me know if I missed any reptile Pokemon that I should use, besides obviously Charizard and also Sceptile. From there, we can go out into Route 25, and there is going to be another snake for me. Survivor is our next Pokemon in here, and we're also going to go for its hidden ability, which is going to be Fatal Precision, which isn't too useful. I'm going to be honest. It also doesn't learn Sucker Punch, which is a big surprise for me. From there, after catching our Viper, we're able to go out and face off against Misty next, which is going to be the Water type gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Wartortle to just Water Pulse. I don't know why, into the Floatzel, lower his speed eventually. Fortunately, my Wartortle will go down to the Floatzel, but I'm able to go out into my Arbok, which actually does a lot of damage, knocks out the Floatzel. And from there, I can switch out into my Dreadnought to sack him for some reason against the Frogadier, go out to my Viper, get frozen, but luckily in this game, freeze is actually a passive damage, so I am able to glare the Starmie after that. And I can go out to my Arbok against the Starmie to knock him out using Sucker Punch. Frogadier comes out, I do get a glare off against him, and it's going to switch out into his Lantern. I am able to get some chip damage. I go out into my Viper next against the Lantern, and it scalds me as I go for a Mega Drain. It defrosts me from the freeze. I'm able to regain my HP from the Mega Drain and knock out the Lantern. And then from there, I outspeed the Frogadier, knock him out, and things are super simple. From there, we can clear through the SSN and get the HM for cuts, which allows us to go back out into Route 9 and catch our next Pokemon, which is going to be a Lizard. We're going to get ourselves a Salandit and also get ourselves a Helioptile, which is going to be pretty nice on our team. From there, we're going to face off against Lieutenant Surge next. We're going to start the battle off against Lieutenant Surge using my brand new Lizard Helioptile. And Helioptile, though I could probably go out into Celadon City and evolve it, I could do a lot of damage to the Pincurchin, switch out to my Arbok against the Raichu and knock him out in one shot. Also knock out the Pincurchin. Really good start for this battle. As Manectric comes out next, which is kind of scary, but I decided to stay in and also go for a Poison Jab, get a Poison on him, switch out to my Helioptile to waste some turns, and also my Wartortle to knock out the Manectric with the poison and then try to get poison on the Bolton. Actually didn't work. I didn't need it. I need to Sucker Punch and knock him out. And then the Vikavolt comes on next as his final Pokemon. I am able to Rock to him, and then battle's pretty much done. Poison Jab with my Viper will eventually knock out the Vikavolt, and down goes Lieutenant Surge, and we get our 3rd gym badge of the game. Super simple. And from there we can go into the Rock Tunnel. Nothing too amazing in here, which is fine. As I go out into the next gym of the game, we're going to face off against Erika next. Erika is the grass gym leader in the game, and we're going to start the battle off against her using my Blastoise for some reason. Okay, I'm going to flinch down the Rillaboom and then just sack him into Grassy Glide. Interesting place. I go to my Salazzle next to Flamethrower, knock out the Rillaboom, which... okay. I go out to my Helioptile and just start messing around with Electrify. Eventually get a Paralyze on the Venusaur with a Thunder, which... what an odd turn. I go to my Dreadnought and just sack him again. I'm just wasting all my Pokemon apparently. From there though, I can finally do something. I go out to my Arbok. I'm a Poison Jab into the Venusaur multiple times, and eventually I am able to knock him out with my Arbok, which I could have done a long time ago. From there, I break the Superior's Focus Sash, go out to my Viper to knock out the Superior. That's a tongue twister. And then Electro is going to knock me out. As her final Pokemon will be a Meganium, which my Salazzle will handle with a Flamethrower, and we get our 4th gym badge of the game, which is super easy, surprisingly. From there, we're going to beat down Giovanni, which isn't too big of a deal, as our team's pretty good. This is going to be our final team, by the way. Did I miss any Reptiles? I feel like I did, but at the same time, I feel like I didn't, because there's not many Reptiles outside of this. We're also going to beat down our rival at Silphco, and also beat down Archer and Ariana. You know how the story goes in Radical Red. We also beat down Giovanni once more. Took a little bit, but I didn't want to show all the attempts. From there, we're also going to beat down Chuck and get the Focus Sash, which is going to be a useful item later in the game. But for this gym, it's not going to be a useful item at all. We're going to face off against Sabrina next. Sabrina is the 5th gym leader in the game, and also pretty bad. So we're going to start the battle off against Sabrina using my Arbok and some Viper to crunch into the Indeedee and Gunk Shot into the Hatterene to knock out both of them, which is insane for our first turn. Ursaluna and Crawdon comes on next. I know Ursaluna is going to protect, so I go for a Poison Jab and a Gunk Shot to knock out the Crawdon, and then double target down the Gardevoir to knock him out for sure. Eventually, the Ursaluna will knock out my Arbok, which is fine. I go out into my Blastoise next, and Blastoise will take care of the Ursaluna. Unfortunately, some Viper will go down, but since there is 4 Pokemon left on my team, I'm pretty sure we're going to knock out the Porygon 2 and secure the 5th gym badge of the game and head into the worst route in the game. We're going to head into the Cycling Road, and we barely made through Cycling Road with my Sanity. We do get through that, and we're able to face off against the 6th gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Koga next. Koga is going to be kind of the poison type gym leader of the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Heliolisk to Volt Switch into the Selgor to break its Focus Sash. Even, I don't think it had one, but then I'm going to go out into my Arbok to Sucker Punch and knock out the Selgor, which is amazing. The Drapion comes on next. I don't really have a play here. I go out to my Salazzle. Salazzle is going to take a Wicked Blow and get knocked out, so not the best play. From there, I decided to go out into my Blastoise to yawn down the Drapion. Sack him, it goes down, which is unfortunate. But I go out into my Arbok next to Coil twice against him, and then Gunk Shot twice to knock out the Drapion. I take a Wicked Blow, which is fine. From there, though, Sucker Punch will knock out the Swallow, which is amazing. And another Sucker Punch will not. I should have gone for a Gunk Shot, but I didn't think I would actually live against the Greninja, as you can see. But from the Life Orb damage, I am able to Sucker Punch down the Greninja and knock him out. And also Sucker Punch to knock out the Toxicity. And his final Pokemon will be a Dragapult, which is... how did Arbok become one of my favorite Pokemon? It was just so fun to use. Anyways, Heliolisk will glare him down, and then the battle should be pretty much secure. I go out into my Viper to knock him out, and there goes the 6th gym badge. I don't know why Arbok is one of my favorite Pokemon to use in this challenge. It was so fun. It has power, it also has Sucker Punch. It was just so fun to use. I also beat down Koga pretty easily. We're also going to beat down Price and get the Choice Scarf, which very important item of the game. We're also going to beat down Claire and get the Choice Band. Less important, but it's still really good. From there, we're going to head into the next gym of the game. We're going to head into the 7th gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Blaine next. Blaine is going to be the fire type gym leader of the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Blastoise to actually Mega Evolve and Dark Pulse. Trying to go for a flinch against the Torkoal. Did not work. Catch the Sunflora, which is interesting. Go out to my Viper just to bait in some attacks. Eventually, I am able to Sucker Punch, knock out the Sunflora, which actually surprisingly is a big threat. From there, he sends out his Typhlosion. He's going to knock out my Arbok, which sucks. I go out into my Dreadnought, which has the Choice Scarf, which will outspeed Typhlosion as soon as I break his Blazing Soul. And then he sends out his Executor next, which I'm able to Flamethrower with my Salazzle. Does not knock him out, surprisingly. I am able to Rock Slide to knock him out. His next Pokemon will be the Cinderace, which one-shots my Heliolisk, but then I go out to my Blastoise do some chip damage. Eventually he's gonna go down to his own life orb, and then the last Pokemon on my team is gonna be my Dreadnought, which is able to outspeed the Charizard and Rock Slide him to knock him out. And his final Pokemon will be the Torkoal that he switched out earlier, and I'm able to Rock Slide to knock him out. These are pretty simple actually. We beat down Blaine, and now we can move out and face out against Ariana and Archer, which are pretty simple fights. I'm not gonna lie, it did take me a little bit with the planning and stuff, but eventually I am able to beat down Archer and Ariana. If I have more than 2 Pokemon alive, I'm pretty much secure in beating down Ariana. So things are pretty simple as we beat down both of them and head into the fight against Giovanni next. This fight against Giovanni actually took the longest out of this entire run. This is the hardest battle in the game for this run, and eventually I am able to beat him with Lance's help, obviously, and we can finally move on and face off against the 8th gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Claire next. Claire, super simple. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Blastoise to Skull and burn the Aerodactyl. Give us a 6v5 advantage. She then goes out to her Duraludon, which is a big problem. I go out into my Heliolisk to glare it, get a paralyze on it, which is nice. Then I could go out into my Viper to Earthquake twice into him to knock him out. He goes out to his Dragonite midway through, but it's whatever. I go out into my Dreadnought to flip turn, break his multi-scale, allow me to go out to my Blastoise to Ice Beam and knock him out, which is super nice. She then goes out to her Magearna, which had to sack my Viper, go out into my Arbok to Earthquake, and then catch the Naganadel with a second Earthquake. For some reason, she switched out, and I'm able to outspeed her again. Magearna goes down. Her next Pokemon will be a Dragovich, which I am able to survive a Fission Wren. Sludge Bomb, do not get poison on it, but my Dreadnought wastes more Fission Wrens, and eventually against my Blastoise, he actually struggles to death, and his final Pokemon will be the Duraludon, which I'm able to Dark Post, knock him out, and we get the 8th gym badge in a very wacky fashion. From there, we're going to face off both our rivals, Gary and also Brendan. Gary's not too difficult, and Brendan is just Brendan, you know, it's nothing too difficult. We're able to beat him down. He actually sacks his Sceptile midway through for some reason, get it burned, and we end up beating him super easily. From there, we're gonna head into Victory Road, and luckily enough, we have a lot of healing items, and we can get through Victory Road. It's still a pain, even with a party of 6. From there, we're going to face off against the Elite Four next, and we're going to face off against Lorelei to start off our Elite Four challenge. And of course, Lorelei uses her Ice Team, so we're going to start the battle off using my Salazzle and also my Viper to go for a Choice Scarf Gunk Shot against the Ninetales to knock him out for sure. Then we're going to go for a Flamethrower against the Glaceon to knock that thing out as well. The next Pokemon will be a Azumarill and also a Rotom Wash. I decided to just switch out both my Pokemon. I don't think this was the best play. I don't know. I feel like it just sacked something, but I do like Salazzle for later against the Abomasnow. So maybe I go out to my Arbok and also my Heliolisk. Arbok gets paralyzed, which is unfortunate, but it's fun. I could go for a Thunder and also Gunk Shot against the Azumarill. Unfortunately, I get paralyzed, but I'm able to Boom Burst and actually knock out the Rotom in the following turn. Unfortunately, Garbok goes down, but it actually works out pretty well for us. As this next Pokemon will be a Calyrex, which is kind of annoying, kind of powerful, I'm not gonna lie. I decided to go out to my Blastoise to Dark Pulse into the Calyrex and also Boom Burst into him. Luckily enough, it is enough to just barely knock out the Calyrex, and his final Pokemon will be an Abomasnow. And also Azumarill is still alive, so I decided to go out for a Boom Burst. It can knock out both my Pokemon, so it's kind of a tricky situation. I go out into my Dreadnought and also my Salazzle. Luckily enough, he did not go for an Aqua Jet, or lucky enough, my Dreadnought outspeed his Azumarill, but I am able to Flamethrower and knock out the Abomasnow, and we barely beat Lorelei. From there, we can face off against the next Elite Four member, which is going to be a little more easier. We're going to face off against Bruno next. Bruno's going to start the battle off against us using an Infernape, which I am able to knock him out with an Earthquake and Sucker Punch, which is super nice. He then goes out to his Como and go for a Gunk Shot off against him, which actually one-shots down the Como through the defense drop from Klinger's Soul. And then from there, I get a Gunk Shot off against the Conqueror. Unfortunately, he's going to knock me out, which is fine. I then go out into my Salazzle to Flamethrower, and then Flamethrower again to knock out the Conqueror. His next one will be an Urshifu. He's going to knock me out, which is unfortunate, but not the worst. I go out into my Blastoise next. Blastoise will Skull twice against the Urshifu to knock him out. His next one will be a Lucario to close combat me, but that gives me some leeway to go out to my Viper, force him to Bullet Punch me as I'm Choice Scarf. Earthquake will knock out the Lucario. And his next Pokemon will be the Zacian, which I'm able to live a close combat, glare him down, and get a Thunder off against him, which is huge as I go out to my Dreadnought to just Earthquake and knock out the Zacian. And there goes Bruno. Next up, we're going to face off against Agatha. Next, Agatha is going to be a painful battle, as we're going to start the battle off against her using my Arbok. Against her Grimmsnarl, actually. Grimmsnarl will take 2 Gunk Shots before going down. Her next Pokemon will be a Hydreigon. I am able to glare it, and then it's kind of stuck here. So I decided to go out into my Blastoise to take a Dark Pulse. I am able to Ice Beam to knock out the Hydreigon. dodge an attack, luckily, but I do knock him out. Marshall gets burned from my skull, which is huge because that means I can knock him out without taking any damage at all. I should have actually switched out here to my Sun Viper or something, but that's fine. I sack my Blastoise, I go out to my Arbok to Sucker Punch. Almost knock him. I should have gone for an Earthquake, but it's fine. From there, I am able to take a huge chunk off the Dragapult and then go out into my Dreadnought to Aqua Jet, knock out the Dragapult. And then her final Pokemon will be a Spectra, which I don't have a big answer to, but it's kind of stuck here with Shadow Ball, so I go out into my Heliolisk, and all I gotta do is Thunder, and that's about it. So 2 Thunders would knock out the Spectra as we beat down Agatha. We're gonna move out into the 4th and final Elite Four member before the champion. We're gonna start the battle off against Lance using my Blastoise to Scald and actually burn, knock out the Aerodactyl, which is huge. A 6v5 advantage. He goes out to his Melmetal next, which is kind of annoying. I don't have an answer at all. I go out to my Salazzle. Lucky enough, I survive a Thunder Punch. Flamethrower does not burn down the Melmetal though, as I should have just gone for an Overheat. Thinking back, should have taught him Overheat. I go out into my Blastoise to Dark Pulse to knock out the Melmetal, and then my Heliolisk actually has Dry Skin to completely wall down Dracovish, which is amazing, allowing me to glare on his switch into his prime with Dialga. I go back out into my list to Burn Burst, eventually knock him down to pretty low HP, and then eventually my Blastoise will knock out the Dialga for me, and his next Pokemon will be a Dracovish. I go back into my list to get my HP back. I go for a Glare, gets the Dragonite, which is amazing. Taking Extreme Speed, which is unfortunate. I might have thrown from that situation. I might have just thrown, but I go out to my Sun Viper next. He lands a Gunk Shot. He lands 3 actually. Amazingly, it will knock out the Dragonite. His next Pokemon will be his Dracovish, which will knock out my Sun Viper, and he can knock out everything else pretty much. He takes the Sucker Punch pretty well, and his Fission Ring will knock out my Arbok. He goes out to his Salamence next. I catch him with a Dark Pulse and then Ice Beam to knock him out. His Dracovish comes out, he's getting Fisherman, and that's actually the last Fisherman on his arsenal as he goes for a struggle against my Dreadnought and gets knocked out. So 2 times in the same run, I've let Dracovishes actually struggle to death instead of actually knocking him out, which is kind of funny. From there, we're going to face off against the champion of the game next. We're going to face off against Gary. We're going to start the battle off against Gary using my Arbok to Gunk Shot. We got a Lucky Poison and knock out the Pheromosa, which we would have done with a Sucker Punch anyways. From there, I'm going to go out into my Salazzle and Toxic down the Groudon. And I'm Toxic stalling down the Groudon. As you can see, I survive a Fire Punch, luckily enough. And I should have actually taught Protect to my Arbok. Why didn't I do that? But I am able to Toxic Stall, knock out the Groudon. He then is forced to switch out into Yveltal to Sucker Punch or Heat Wave me, apparently. Should have gone for a Toxic, but I go out into my Heliolisk to glare down the Yveltal. He's gonna knock me down to low HP. I go out to my Dreadnought to get a Rock Slide Flinch on him. And then from there, I know he's gonna go for a Sucker Punch, so that's 2 Sucker Punches, I believe. And then from there, I'm just gonna keep building up Shell Smashes until he runs out of Sucker Punches. So he's at the cap limit of 5, obviously. I am able to Ice Beam, knock out the Yveltal, Scald to knock out the Metagross, which is nice. His next Pokemon will be Eternatus. I don't want to knock him out. I want to get him low on HP, which works amazingly. And then he's going to knock out my Blastoise, so his Ditto doesn't copy me. My Viper actually has Choice Scarf on, so I'm able to Earthquake and knock out the Eternatus. And then his Ditto copies me, but it doesn't copy me fully as I'm able to outspeed him and knock out his Viper. And we end up beating Gary. And we cleared through the battle. We cleared through the entire game. It kind of sucks though that the reptiles that I'm playing with are just that. They're just the only reptiles I could think of. I don't think of any other reptiles when I'm playing through Pokemon, I don't think. And I was searching through this entire list. This is a nice team, nice looking team. All reptiles, 2 of each, 2 snakes, 2 lizards, 2 turtles. Really kind of cool. I'm really hoping I'm not wrong on this. Turtles are actually reptiles, right? I'm not dumb, right? But anyways, thank you so much for watching all the way to now. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you guys can, please leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to me. Anyways, my name is Ben Alpha, and I'll see you guys Thursday for a double upload. Surprise upload. Anyways, peace out, guys.